So I've just realised that I wrote a level constraint list for Foxy boxes. So I'm just going to read them out and then stick this at the very start of the video before we show the design stuff. And then we'll look at whether we've actually met that, matched that. So here are our constraints for designing levels for Foxy boxes. Make sure the objective building is in sight at the level start, only for the first level. A level should take at least 3 minutes to run through. A level should have a clearly defined track to follow at all times. If the track splits, it must be possible to travel down both paths in the same run, though not necessarily in either order, and backtracking is allowed. A level must contain at least 30 boxes. Levels should present variety by changing up the types of movement players are using to stop things getting boring. A level should represent the biome it is in and should share puzzles and themes with other levels of that type. If backtracking, players should take different routes or be presented with different perspectives of the same space to make it feel less like reused space. So my thinking is we've got a forest level, right? We've got our start point. Maybe use a colour for that. Maybe whatever that is. And then we have a tower, like a building that we want to reach. And we want that building to definitely be visible from the start, from the beginning. So if we put our final tower over here, which is going to be a Mario Princess Castle.
Okay, so my immediate thought is that if we want this to be visible, but we're going to have like foliage and what I'm assuming all over the damn place. That's a good question to start off with then. Are we having like a something that starts linear and then maybe like branches off and does a thing, but like roundabout always goes to the end? Or are we having it more like an arena kind of thing where it's like, you know,
I'm thinking
loads of rooms and
I'm thinking fairly like narrow paths, to be honest, because it's
okay,
it's
the
a
Bandicoot.
platformer. The Bandicoot effect, yeah. So I've had a thought, because we're doing like a foresty level, and because we want to make sure that this this tower is visible from the start, I'm thinking that if we have a cliff running across our terrain like this.
So where I was going with that is like it's going to need to be elevated terrain over here.
But actually, I've just realised. Hang on, can I actually select a section and move it? That'd be really awesome if I can just grab this and yes. Oh, that's so good. Okay, so yeah, I can put it up here. So we'll be able to see. This will be like perched on the edge of this cliff, and we'll be able to see it. Now, what I'm thinking is, if we have this raised terrain, we can have a river running along this.
Okay, so like from here to here. Or...
Oops, I'm still in select mode. Like, oh, that's it.
Oh, okay, so running parallel.
No, this is the bottom of the cliff kind of thing.
Oh right, these are topography marks.
Yeah, this light grey is like terrain. But if we have a river running along here, water falling and then running like this, then this provides a sort of a bit of a barrier. And if we have things flowing along this river for us to jump across as they're passing, so that our path. We need a colour for like the route. Maybe this colour?
What could be good?
If we have things like flowing down the river that you can jump on as they pass, then you would die if they took you down the waterfall kind of thing. Yeah. Although we'd probably want that much closer to the edge if we did that.
Or we could just have like Invisicorp branded Flotsam, I guess.
Flotsam. I like Flotsam.
Yeah. Flotsam. Is it Flotsam or Jetsam? They're two different things.
Are they? Let's have Flotsam and Jetsam. You know, no expenses spared on this game.
Yeah, right. It would be Flotsam. Flotsam is Jetsam is stuff that was deliberately thrown overboard. Flotsam is stuff that wasn't deliberately thrown overboard. This was not deliberately thrown overboard. Therefore, it's Flotsam. Done.
I see.
The nomenclature is important. See, this is why we're recording.
Yeah, this is why we record. So that in 30
Welcome to this
years,
episode
when
of
people
Foxy
try and
Foxy.
tell our story, they realise they can't.
Welcome to learning maritime nomenclature.
Yes. We provide all of the information here. Okay, so that'd be a thing, I guess. So we need a way to get up this cliff, which could either... Minecraft is not great at slopes. Otherwise, I'd suggest that this cliff slopes down and becomes less steep, and then we kind of come around here. But
Well, my thought is... No,
I tried to just do a Photoshop undo, and it didn't work.
So we have our cliff, like so. So imagine this is just like a cross section of the immediate areas, trees. I am an artiste.
Sorry, what am I looking at here with this square?
This square is you're approaching. Here's Reposer. So like looking ahead, there's your like
Oh, this is from the start.
level, and this is like a this is say here, I guess. So like you've moved, you've gone through your level, whatever, and you reach the cliff face. What we could have as part so like as have a jumping puzzle, just have like a sheer cliff effectively, and just like have crates on ledges and whatever, and then we could make the player like jump up the cliff face.
Yes, that
Because
sounds fun.
if we're doing a game that is primarily based around jumping, we should probably have a fair amount of vertical movement in levels. And a cliff face is literally, it's like the epitome of vertical movement. You've got to get up it somehow. Might as well have like crates and stuff like that. Because again, if we have it, especially like if we have it where the route takes us parallel to the river, that could just look cool anyway.
Yeah.
And then you can have the Invisicorp flotsam going down. So that's always present in your mind. And
I
stuff
think it would be
like
nice
that.
to do some stuff on the river, but this is also the first level, so we probably don't want to overcomplicate, like...
Well, I mean, we can have
over-difficultize it.
another route we could take, which is in a different colour, is we could go across the river and then like over here somewhere. Because like the first route, the grey one, if we go up here and then reach it here, then we could have it so we're doing stuff on the river in this section. I guess we could also do that.
Yeah.
I actually quite like that as well, because then we can have like a view over the edge of this cliff as well. We could have like logs and stuff coming this way, maybe. The Invisicorp building is here. God, that's like the worst thing I've ever drawn.
Your princess is in an actual castle.
Your princess is in a rubber glove with the fingers inside it. But yeah, so we could have like a forward jumping puzzle. So this is immediately misleading with these arrows. Actually, no, you know what? Yeah, okay. So there. How did I draw Reposer down here? There we are, with like box head. There we are.
I feel like we're already trying to advertise Funko Pops here and get Funko Pops to do a Reposer.
Hang on. There we are.
Exactly.
Still in a box. The foxiest box is the box that you keep your Reposer Funko Pop in.
I want levels to have around 3 to 5 minutes to get through them.
Okay.
So I think I'm just cutting out these lines so we can consider slightly more winding routes to take.
Yeah.
I like the idea of initially heading towards the castle because it's the goal and it's visible right from the start, and then being forced to move away from it could be kind of a little frustrating. But you try to take the shortest route first, then you have to follow the cliff along to see if there's a way up, sort of thing.
It's and especially if we use this as part of an actual episode, this might anger some people, but it's what Dark Souls did.
What's that?
Foxy Boxes is just Dark Souls. So Dark Souls has a lot of vertical movement, and you can kind of see where you're going most of the time, and then occasionally you like duck away from it and do a thing. But you're always kind of brought back to that kind of. You can see this big area that you're eventually having to go to.
Would it be a really weird idea to have a big ass rock here, and then just go round it?
Oh, piss! Well done. Maybe.
I feel like it might be nice to have more of a bend in the river here, so that you can't see down the entire length of it. Like line of sight, you'd probably want players not to be able to see too far.
This is like A, looking a lot better than I thought it was going to, and B, a lot more useful than I thought it was going to be as well, which is good.
The tool?
Yeah, and just how it's all being laid out and stuff like that. Like this is the whole thing is actually really useful.
I think this path that we have for players is going to have to be a lot more winding. If it's really straight, people are going to be able to see obstacles far before they reach them. But I think we can just add more twists and turns in it.
Yeah, I mean, like as we saw in the in the video I did for the thing, like I basically immediately like doubled the size of everything I had in the plan.
Yeah. And then like one of the many things that I learned while looking at level design principles is the idea of trying to avoid things getting boring by mixing them up. So you want to both fill out the level with obstacles and bad guys and boxes and things, but also just adding lots of bad guys doesn't make it an interesting level. It's about, if you have a couple of meters with some bad guys, then after that you want something else. So the rivers are going to help with that. They're going to be breaking the level up more, making things more interesting. We're allowed to have like... What was our decision? Are we allowed to have that kind of old buildings apart from that big Invisicorp one? Or any statues or anything like that? I think it's going to be nice if we can have something that draws the eye, like totems. They can even be natural things, like
it depends.
Big glowing rocks or something.
It depends how abandoned or civilized we want this planet, I guess, because it stands to reason that there could be. Stands to reason there could be like a civilization on this planet that at least has a basic understanding of like tools and stuff like that, even if they're not.
Yeah,
that could be why Invisicorp abandoned it, because it's like, oh shit, the natives are angry and they're throwing rocks at us, kind of thing. We could allude to that with the broken. With a broken robot.
With a broken like robot.
As well, just be like...
My favourite plot device.
It's a classic. I would quite like looking at this for exactly where you're drawing now to have us be able to look out over here. I
thought we were going like this.
Yeah, I would really like, because
should we move the river closer to the edge so that we run along the river with the river on one side and the cliff on the other as a natural barrier?
That could be quite good. Yeah, because so something that links a lot of games. I
don't think rivers normally do that, but we can do that here, I guess.
Yeah, it's fine. Foxes don't normally walk on two legs and pilot spaceships either, but here we are.
Geology, biology, we're ruining it all.
Invisicorp does what it wants. We're Invisicorp. Oh Christ. Anyway, yeah, like a good wow moment with most video games is when you have like a narrow passageway for a while, which this is, and then you go up here, and like you'll be able to turn around and have a look over, but then at some point you're gonna get to like here or something like that, and even if we just have like this area as empty, the player can stand here and look out over this, and like after being so if we're following like basic 3-act structure or something like that with how we're doing level design, even if it's not like story based, if we're following 3-act structure, so like, you know, up to here is Act 1, well, if anything it'll be up to here is Act 1, up to here is Act 2, and then whatever's going in here is Act 3. All of Act 1 you've spent in this hole effectively, like really claustrophobic, closed in and stuff like that, and then you get up here and you get to this area and you can look out, and there's just like a moment where like you've got the river on one side, you've got this massive vista on the other, and like ideally it should be quite a good wow moment where the entire world just opens up, because again that would be Rapose's first time seeing forest, and we could riff on that.
Yep.
That sort of thing, and it might help the player empathize a lot if it's also the first time in the game that they've seen a massive wide open space as well. Could help some empathy.
You know what would be quite cool here?
What's that?
Dropping rocks, to dodge.
Oh yeah.
So yeah, okay. Well, this looks fairly varied and interesting.
This
anyway,
looks quite good.
I would add more twist to our path so that you can't see things so much. But I think that's something we can do once we get into Minecraft. Since I'm still recording and you can see my screen, I just want to show off this level design documents from Crash Bandicoot, which I found online, which look a lot nicer than ours. Like it's almost like they're actually an artist or something. But it's a good reference. Noodles doesn't know this, but I'm watching him through the one-way glass. So, this is a good start.
We've broken one server. It's fine.
Yep, the Foxy Box's dev server is broken. It crashes if you try and load any new chunks. So we're on the game mode for
we
stream
try and
server
move
instead.
More than 30 feet. The entire thing just dies. We stand down here and just look up, like twice this height, maybe. Another half.
Maybe. Do we want to give it like a ledge halfway up?
Yeah, we will do. I'm just trying to get a rough sense of scope at the moment. Because if we know what height we want, then we can work off that.
If you make this out of crates and say I fluff this jump,
yep,
then I can't get up anymore. There's no crate.
Oh, that's a good point.
So we can either have crates, like Crash Bandicoot does this using metal crates that don't count towards your total, or we can just have something that gives you the same bounce mechanic as a crate but isn't a crate, like a launcher or something.
Do we have reinforcement? Yeah, that's you make a very good point.
Well, this is basically the level we've drawn that I've just put. This is going to take me.
Sick.
This is going to take me a depressingly short time to run along, isn't it? I'm going to time myself and see how long it takes to walk along this. They will be slowed down by jumping puzzles and bad guys and stuff, but let's see how long this takes me to just sprint along.
I've got the old music stuck in my head. Like, I might use some of it. Like, the original first level music has been stuck in my head for about a year and a half now.
That's a good sign, right?
Yeah, innit? It's that, it's the baseline. The baseline fucking goes.
Okay, that took me 2 minutes 15 seconds to run along.
And if you, we'll say add 2 minutes for the other stuff.
Yeah.
If you're just doing straight start to finish, it's going to take you about 4 minutes. And if you're looking for stuff, and it's going to take you like 10.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Also, I think this straight over here under the cliff is going to be a lot less straight.
Yes.
Because you don't want to be people to be able to see too far to see it. So there's going to be stuff in the way, I think.
Yeah. So this is actually a good length.
Yep.
Excellent.
This is a drawing kind of modelled on what we drew before.
That we created.
Yeah, I guess we can put the river in next.
Yeah.
I'll just mark it with blue. Honestly, this is much more useful than the paper drawing in terms of like, if I was originally thinking of drawing where bad guys and crates and pits were going to be, but I think I might just fly up, look straight down, take a screenshot, and just draw on that to work out where things are going to go. Because I think I can fit the whole thing on my screen if I fly up and turn clouds off. Well, I've put a very rudimentary crate system in. It won't necessarily be the right jump height, but you can kind of pretend.
We can pretend. I won't be a sec. Slab. Bap.
Oh, you haven't actually finished all the way up?
No, not quite yet. And then I was just doing a thing. Well, because like you get up here, you've done all the jumping, you've been on this massive winding path or whatever. You go over here, and then there's just like a moment of just nice, easy walking where you can kind of see the I-Corp building over there, and then look out. We add some fencing. So like, if you imagine that, you've done all that, you've come all the way up here, and then there's just kind of like a moment of like, you can see the invisible building in the distance, and you can just kind of look out over the forest.
Mm-hmm.
Like, that would look dope.
I am wondering whether most players at the start here are not actually going to be able to... I can see where the building will be, but I have quite a high render distance. It'd be funny if... Actually, I almost can't see it from here. It fades out, and I've got a 20-something chunk radius.
We'll put it this way: at my render distance, you know, kind of the weird like light blue thing where it's just right at the edge of your render.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what the waterfall is for me, and I'm on.
Oh, okay, right.
I'm on 8 chunks, which I think is pretty standard.
Yep.
I mean, well, I haven't changed my settings apparently. Looking at this, so if we design for 8 chunks,
then
we can change the resolution.
We actually need to start further over here.
Okay, so how about I'll go until I can see the end of that.
I've just built the tower.
Okay, so I'll tell you when I can see it then. What's car alarms going off? Oh, I can start to see it. Okay, right. This actually is quite good. Is it just a 1 block high, a 1 block tower?
It is.
Okay, good. Right. So if you set your thing to 8 chunks, this is kind of where I thought it would be nice to have like a bit of an open with the river and then the reveal of the tower, and you can only just see it in the distance on 8 chunks.
So we don't literally show them the tower when they drop from the ship.
No, there'll be some stuff going on and some stuff to take in and some plot stuff happening. Because bearing in mind, like there's going to be some chatter on the radio and stuff like that as well. So the player is likely going to be walking through that.
Yeah.
So yeah, you doing some jumping, doing some stuff, whatever. Go through. Radio chat stops around here, and then the player just like gets some time alone with their thoughts. Blah blah blah. Go through. Yeah, cool. There's stuff happening. Whatever. Oh, there's a river.
So we can basically time ourselves.
Opened up a bit.
We can speed run to make sure that our dialogue we can't get from there to the river before our dialogue finishes, kind of thing. Yes. And then we know how much time we have to fill. Yeah.
But I really kind of like the idea of like, okay, cool. So it stops. The dialogue stops like around this sort of S bend.
Yeah.
And then the player gets some time to like internalize it, whatever, and then more dialogue when the river kind of like, you know, the trees sort of like open out, and you can kind of just see that tower off in the distance. And then if we just have like minimum settings, like in a README or something like that.
I wonder, because it's still in fog, I do wonder whether, because the server is rendering more chunks than this, whether it's actually not going to be visible from here. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I get you.
Shall I change the render distance of the server? And
yeah, actually, if we just set the server to like 8.
I can still see it.
Yep, me too. Okay. So if we just have like a...
But I can actually see the chunks unrendering now. Like so I think a change has been made. But at 8 chunks rendering, we should maybe, when we download this anyway to move it to the Foxy Boxes server, it literally loads as we reach the very edge of this river.
This is very, very good.
I think maybe move the river forward a teensy bit.
I quite like the idea of just having a bit of it shrouded in fog.
Yeah, that works.
And then like it's mysterious then, like the player can see it. And it's like, what the hell? And you go across this, and while you're thinking about it, you might still be able to see. Yeah, because by the time we get to here...
I guess what we want to do is, for people who have a higher setting than that, we just want to make sure that the tower is not visible before you reach this... Oh. I'm saying, this is a terrible colour to choose for this, but we would... Let's use leaves. We want to make sure that players, before they reach this point, if they have a higher setting, the tower is just blocked from view.
Can't see. Yeah. Okay, so we have like a... I'm in adventure mode, that's why I can't.
We're not doing like a jumping puzzle over the water where water is death?
That's better.
Like, rocks in the water? I'm surprised you're building bridges, because it's like... Bridges is how lazy people get across rivers.
Yeah, no, it's a very good point.
We would have like totes magotes rocks in this biz. You know what's going to be interesting with this is we want to create this impression of flowing river water, but water is still in Minecraft. And we also... It's a shame we have so few fluids, because we can't use different fluid blocks to show different directions of water flow. It's kind of annoying. Maybe we could get a huge sprite and just stick it on top of the water to create that flowing effect. Or we could create our own flowing water animated flat sprite texture and just place it on top of water. I don't know if that's a terrible idea or a great idea.
That does sound like a very good, like, cheesy workaround, certainly.
I feel like that's how games just do it. Or our water doesn't have transparency, in which case we can just animate at any block.
So if water is death, then there's a bit coming up here that's just flat out evil. Oh fuck. Yoink. Wherein, if you mess this jump up, you just go face first into the waterfall. Oh god.
Which jump? This last one?
There's a this one here, where I just kind of like I the first time I just ran along, completely scuffed it and just went.
Oh.
This is kind of fun. I like this vertical section.
This does not look enough like a dev level for me.
No.
Like a first go.
In what sense? Ah, okay.
There we go. You need
what you mean.
You need a blank texture with a grid on it. Otherwise, what's the point?
Oh, I'm very happy with this. I think it's largely because finally, after nearly 2 years of being, I think 2 years of being on this project, I'm finally playing the fucking game. This is the first test level I've ever played for this game.
Honestly, I think this is the first level. Well, actually, no, there were a couple of designed levels. Actually, one of them could still be reusable if we can find it.
Oh, that's quite evil as well. There's a bit over here where if you're rushing, and you don't think about it, you're like, and up here, and you like smash into a roof and like fall down.
I feel like this looks much more like I would expect an
untextured
dev level to look like now. Yeah.
Okay, I'm quite happy with the vertical section by this point. If you want to give it a go, see if there's any changes you'd make off the top of your head or out.
I don't know about these textures, man. You could have worked a bit harder on them, you know.
Oh, okay, no, okay, we are moving apparently.
Oh, I was going this way.
Yeah, no, there's I want multiple routes and stuff like that because again, for speedrunning purposes, like you can, and it is easier to go this way, but it takes longer. Whereas if you want to be like, you know, super skill pro about it, just go this way. It's much quicker. Okay, I'm trying to design with speedrunning in mind, and obviously, like, this is definitely going to change layout-wise and like specific block placement-wise.
Yeah.
But I like the idea that there's like multiple routes. Some are quicker for speedrunning purposes.
Okay. Yeah. And you do want a bridge up here.
I think it's a good juxtaposition between, because like not only is it a good, like I said, like, you know, down there is still wild and untamed, and then the closer you get to the I Court building, the more like evidence there is that people have been here.
I feel like it needs to be a brutalist slab bridge.
Oh yeah, 100%. Yeah, that'll change. But not only that, also as you come up here, and again, obviously I'm leaning quite heavily into the whole, it would be great to have like just something to look over. You can see, even on this render distance, you can see the first crossing as well.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
And it's a kind of, you know, look where we've been.
Let's pretend we did all of that intentionally.
Oh god, yeah. Honestly, most of the stuff that I've done for the marketplace has been accidental. It's fine. But yeah, so, but again, like the whole, you know, where we've been, where we're going thing is kind of a key theme with this game, which is kind of reflected here.
I'm kind of leaving signs which are mostly about line of sight, because that's the kind of thing which Duck's building work will affect.
We wanted a big rock.
A big rock.
There.
A great big bushy rock.
A big bushy rock.
We want to, at this point on this path, we can have it so that the tower is basically always in sight and you're heading towards it. So you've got that tower on the horizon, you're heading towards it. You probably want to make sure that you can always see it over the rock as well, right?
Over the what, sorry?
Over the rock.
Yes.
Which, again, by pure chance, I happen to make a rock that is a height where you can always see the entire tower.
Just the whole thing.
Yep.
It's just a massive fluke.
As game design, we haven't had to adjust anything yet.
It's not gonna be like, imagine if in the future it's like, you know, people are like, let's playing this and stuff like that, and it's like, yeah, this is a really well designed first level. And then imagine it's like someone puts in the time to actually like think about it in the way we are and being like, well, this is indicative of this and stuff like that, and we're just there like, we just placed shit, it worked.
It's a shame we can't do like raycasting, like sunlight stuff here, because it'd be really nice to have the tower just like overshadowing this whole path. That would look amazing. The thing is, to do what we just said, we would have to rotate this entire level because of where the sun is.
So you're just saying about like ray pathing and stuff like that?
It would have been nice to have the sun behind the tower so that the tower's shadow just hangs over this the whole route here as you're approaching it, so it's kind of like overbearingly looming over you. No, that's going to move the sun to the left. It's not going to...
Oh, right. Yeah.
We would have to rotate the level. Okay,
right.
So you're walking along this path, right? You're approaching the tower, you can see it, you look like you're heading towards it. What I'm suggesting is when you reach the cliff at the base of the tower, so let's say right here.
Oh yes.
This is where I think we should put a broken ladder.
Oh yeah, I like that.
We also want an obstruction, a visual obstruction here.
We have a body.
A body?
Yeah, just like a skeleton or something. It's like laying on the floor, and then just like some other ladders just like scattered around. Just like, oh yeah, look at this game, it's cool, we're playing as foxes, and everything's great, and then it's just this man very clearly tried to climb up this ladder and died.
Yes, we want a visual obstruction here so that you can't see that it looks like you're approaching the tower and the ladder until you reach it, and then you realize you have to go right because you can't actually climb up, right?
Ah, I like it. I like it a lot. This is dope. This
yeah.
game is already good.
Okay, I'm quite happy with this level. I am thinking it might be nice to have a bit more height variance on the path. We could start this entire first section higher and then have you actually drop here from a higher height onto the rocks, like so.
I like the idea of like hiding crate blocks so that you can kind of just see the tops.
Yeah, that's quite visible when you're walking along.
Yeah, it is, isn't it?
But we could obscure it behind a bush or something. I don't know, it's just an idea. Like, I like the idea of if you've dropped, oh, I can't go back. Have I missed anything?
Ah, there's a thing.
That's not apparent unless you're quite far forward and looking back.
Yeah, I guess.
It's an idea.
We'll
Maybe we can always implement it elsewhere. But yeah. This is a long straight though, so there's not much surprise in what you see.
No, but again, like it might be nice to just have the first time you deal with the enemies, it could just be nice to have them exactly where you can see them and you can plan for them.
Yeah.
And then you've done all of that, and then you come here, and then because if we just have like you jump over that, and then there's some radio chatter where it's like, watch out for the enemies, and you get to here and like you've beaten them, you can already kind of see ahead now that like you get to here and it's like, oh cool, it's like there's something interesting going here, and then immediately your mind is then taken up with what is this? Oh,
you know what might go quite well right here to break up this straight where I've put this pillar would be a ruined building.
Ooh, or just like a thing, yeah,
because you could literally here you could have a building where you have an entrance and an exit, and you just run through it. I don't know why there'd be a building in the middle of an animal track, but
it's like
because that obscures your view of the rest of this track.
They're just built right in the means of egress.
I know, right?
It was an ancient civilization so advanced they developed a toll system.
Yeah, we could do something else like rocks in the path.
We could have. I mean, we could have a building. We could have a building actually off to this side. Have it overgrown.
The point of the building was to break up this straight. So.
Well, yeah. So what I'm kind of thinking.
I mean, line of sight, not like in terms of.
I see.
In terms of making this straight less. So you can't see as far down it.
Okay, what if...
was my point, which we could also achieve with fallen tree or something. Like if we had one fallen tree doing this, and one fallen tree, like, supported by rocks to either side, like this. Then that should still obscure. Okay, it doesn't.
Oh, okay.
If this was a little higher.
I see. So there's like a bit of a cliff here or something like that.
Yeah, tree resting over it. That would
and the tree kind of
create a bit of vertical change. And it actually, to be honest, just this lip alone hides the floor behind it. It could even be sort of really kind of like an ancient like carved stone that you can just about make out used to be like a figurine shape. Like I'm thinking like
an Aztec thing.
Spirited Away.
Yes.
Stone.
Yep. Yeah, like a shrine of some description.
Yeah. Like this. I'm going to send it to Duck as well. He's not going to know what it's for.
Yes, that's exactly what I was thinking. Yes.
Yeah, something like that could be pretty neat. Okay, well let's look at our level layout and see how that fits then. So
we're running it from the start.
make sure the objective building is in sight at the level start. No, but that was only for this first level, and I think we've decided it's nicer to have a bit of dialogue before
Yeah, it
the
kind of
reveal
starts
here.
properly at this river, really, doesn't it? Which there we are, and I really like that reveal actually. Hang on, I'm going to extend this out further to be more in line with.
A level should take 3 minutes or more to run through.
Which it's looking like
I
it
think
will.
it will. What was my time on it before? Like,
it was like 1.5 minutes, 2 minutes, and that's before we actually put anything in it.
I think it was more than 2 minutes. I'm going to run it again quickly.
Yeah. Do it with the jumping puzzle as well and stuff like that. I mean, obviously we've done it to death now, so we're going to be better at it than a first timer. But
I've only done it about 4 times.
Oh, fair.
20 seconds. So we've got 20 seconds so far. The big reveal of the tower comes at 25 seconds.
Yeah, because again, like, oh fuck, you could.
So what was that about having done it to death?
Right, you. Listen here. Yeah, so we'll put some stuff here, and then like when you get here, there's a whole thing.
Yeah, that's 2 minutes 27 seconds up to here.
Before we naff about for a minute here, let's say.
Yeah.
So.
Okay. Yeah, I'd say that's going to be 3 minutes or more.
Yeah, and I mean, there's stuff.
Level should have a clearly defined track to follow at all times. I think we've done that. If the track splits, it doesn't. A level must contain at least 30 boxes. We haven't done box placement yet. We should also look at where pits and other obstacles are going to go at some point. Levels should present variety by changing up the types of movement players are using to stop things getting boring. Sort of. I think once we have pits and enemies added, that will be more so the case. We have a little bit
of 7 boxes so far.
There's
not
really
the
nothing
one.
going on at the start here. We definitely need some pits or enemies and or enemies.
Well, again, there's going to be like story-based plot chatter going on here.
Yeah.
So
we have some drops here. We've got some jumping. Then there's a bit more straight, which we'll have to space out with some.
Well, again, this is where enemies are going. So I kind of like it being straight and boring here, purely for what I was saying earlier on. With like the first time you encounter these enemies, it might just be nice to like plan for them, see them, observe them, because you'll be able to clearly see how their AI works. And
the two straights along the cliffs are going to need a lot of work. I think something we can do with the cliffs is essentially have, rather than a sheer straight cliff, you can have parts where the cliff have sort of broken away like this, where you have to jump over the gap.
Oh, yeah.
Although how that works with a river right next to it, I'm not sure.
Well, I mean, we could have...
But, because then you have to jump over it, and that could also be a source of a rock slide.
Yes.
I'm thinking.
Yes, I'm liking that idea. That's a good one.
There's a way of breaking it up a bit and making some hazards.
Literally.
Because bottomless pits at the tops of cliffs doesn't really make sense.
No. But again, when we were saying earlier on, we can have it as like if player falls X amount of blocks, then death occurs.
Yes.
Anyway, so
a level must contain levels should present variety. Yeah, we've done that one. A level should represent the biome it is in and should share puzzles and themes with other levels of that type. We don't really have. I guess enemies can be shared across levels.
Yep.
We currently have. I think in the next episode, maybe we should design some enemies.
Yeah.
Maybe specifically a couple of forest enemies.
We'll get if we get Shin on it, designing some concept art.
Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Some foresty looking aliens.
I can what they do.
I don't think we've announced in any videos. We have someone else joining the team, by the way.
We haven't, have we?
Shin is a random lady I found, a Swedish lady who found her in a bush, never looked back. She's an animator, and I'm helping her with a project at the moment. And she said that she'd be interested in helping us with both concept art for this game and also possibly some cutscene animation. So if you're on our Discord, which you can join by clicking the link that I may have left in the description, if it's not in the description of this video, it'll be in the previous video. Then you will already know this because we often give sneak peeks of like level layouts and stuff like that in the Discord ahead of time. You're welcome to give feedback and chat with other box heads. What do we call people who like Foxy
Not
boxes?
Not that.
Box heads.
No. No. Name pending. Join the Discord and give us suggestions. The one time where it's cool to invent your own nickname.
Yeah. That's good. So we definitely have to... I think we need to work on both making this more biome specific for the level type through enemies. I guess the rock falls and stuff can be a repeating thing for forests, although it's more of a cliff thing than a forest thing. Maybe we can think of some other foresty stuff.
Well, I mean, because we are thinking about a volcano level as well, like a lava planet or stuff like that. So we could have this now, and then in future this again, but with added lava. for extra.
Yeah.
For extra.
And the last one is about backtracking. We don't really have that. We have you can see areas of the level again, but you get a different perspective of them. So
yes,
I think what I was thinking of when I wrote that, I'm going to do a tiny little level up here. If you want to come up onto the big ass rock a second. My thinking was, if you are running along here and then you get into an open area and you want them to come back to this open area, so they come out here and then they go up. The idea is if we reuse this area, it would be something like you would be up here and then you could parkour over what you'd already seen. But this means that while we're reusing the space... Pardon me, I'm a little big for this.
There's a different kind of...
You see it from a different perspective. You might even be able to see a secret that you missed before.
Ooh, I like that.
So that was kind of my ruling for that philosophy. We don't have anything like this looping in this level because I think the draw, the attraction is always this tower. I don't want people to feel like they're moving away from the tower too much.
Well, you say like we don't have that, but literally, if we're having like entire sections here that have been like broken away, you can see this path beneath you.
Yeah.
Like we are literally doing exactly what you just described. Yeah. If we do that more.
Another way of doing this would be potentially to bring players, like if we reuse this open space, you can kind of do it by bringing them around like this, so they actually drop back into the same space. But as long as they're seeing it from a different angle, that's kind of important, even if they end up in
kind of like Zelda. I think it was in Twilight Princess, Legend of Zelda: Twilight Princess. There's a dungeon that pretty much, I mean, looks like this. I'll send you a video. There's a very good video. Who does boss keys? Bear with me a second. We could edit this out so it looks like I knew, but I don't. Game Maker's Toolkit. There's the YouTuber Game Maker's Toolkit for those watching. There's a really good series called Boss Keys where he like breaks down dungeon design in The Legend of Zelda, and there's a thing that does exactly that. I will send you the video, Sparks, if you want to have a look. And then, I mean, if we barely remember to put the Discord link in the description, then we're definitely not going to remember to link that. But Legend of Zelda Boss Keys done. Are we premiering this? Do we do premieres on your?
Someone complained about premieres.
Yeah, one person.
One person.
One person. Everyone else seems fine with it.
Okay, well we'll go back to premiering.
Maybe we'll find out.
I'm not
let us know if we're premiering this in the comments below.
Let us know if Sparks forgot to edit this bit out. If I get a comment saying "Well done, Sparks, you did remember to edit this out," that'll be spooky. Yeah. Big ass rock.
Bye everyone, I guess.
No, that is not our outro.